There we go. I think we're
all right. We're live.
Oh,
Yes,
there we
we
go.
are live. Are we on live? Yes, we are live, Aaron. All right, guys, we are back, episode 20. And we're not really sure if this is going to be our last one. We've enjoyed it, but we also want to make sure that what we're doing is worthy and engaging. So we'll see how today goes, and we'll see what happens in the year. But this could be the final, mate. We'll see what happens, Az. How are you, mate?
20 episodes old.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's we don't want to dive old age in this podcast world, mate.
No, you only stay relevant for so long, don't you?
Exactly.
So maybe we've reached our max potential here.
2021. Who are those two idiots? They're just two guys who decided to get on YouTube. Whatever.
220. the COVID podcast clowns.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be catching Joe Rogan, but we'll try.
Yeah, we're going to try. Maybe.
We went 3,000 to go, mate. and a $100 million contract. But anyway, we'll see how it goes.
That's right. Gee whiz, how you going, mate? I'm going well. It's another week down. Christmas just on our doorstep now.
It's crazy. I just can't believe that we're actually coming to an end.
Yep.
This week we're closing down again, getting ready for the holidays, and it's a weird feeling. It's a good feeling, weird feeling, but
yeah, I agree with that.
I feel like I've worked for a whole year non-stop.
Well, mentally you have.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. There's so much to contend with, isn't it? I mean, obviously running the small business that you are and having to step through all these different things through the year, government initiatives and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to. I'm glad it wasn't me. I would have lost my shizen.
Yeah, but it still impacts you in another way, though. Like, bus was starting back. It's, is it the right way? Does it feel right? Does it feel wrong? Does it feel busy? Does it feel rushed? All those things are going on, and we're still not nowhere near normal. It's all go, go, go. Yeah,
it is all go, go. Like I said this last week. We're another week down the track. I'm really concerned by it. I'm really concerned. I feel like even in a normal year, sometimes you're rushed going into it because by the time you actually exit tryouts, November, they throw you straight into grading. Usually, we're going to be doing that in January. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be rushed into grading. We're going to have some kids and families, and I think rightfully so after this past year, still away.
I know it's not what we'd want because of, especially me as a business and that, but that's what I love about football and cricket in juniors. They actually have a break.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a more seasonal sport, isn't it? Whereas basketball.
Yeah. Well, and when they have their rep, it's done, it's dusted, it's over. They're not playing rep and domestic, and then fully committed to both. And it's actually all these trainings and all these games and all these run arounds and tournaments and all blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it is a pretty hectic sport to be a participant in or committed to.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you're excelling in your sport, come January, what do you normally do? You're playing the ECC, SECs, and now it's getting younger, more teams means more opportunity and. Yeah, it's really a rest for the wicket.
I reckon now's the time to revamp the comp. You've been stuck in the same old ways since I was playing, which is a long time, and then since you were playing, which is even a longer time ago.
Off you go.
There was no 3-point line around when Daz was playing.
Black and white TV. I got there in a
there was no
car.
TV. I think it's time for a revamp. I think we need to. Here's an idea. Why don't we, and I love it. I love my American sport. I like the way they format it. I'm not going to suggest we become televising and, integrating our sport exactly like the Americans do it. But I love the college system. Why don't we have at the ultimate end of the season, because across the different divisions, you've got metros and whatnot, they only take top 5. VC, they take... if they split you VC reserve, they only take top 8.
It's 20 and 10.
So I reckon why not create a conference tournament finals? Just completely revamp it.
So is a revamp. So what's the idea? So not that I'm just being the devil's advocate. Yeah. What's the idea? And I'm the same. I think there's a revamp required. What's the reason for the revamp?
I think it's gotten a little bit. I've coached teams. I'm just going to talk from experience. So, like Metro 1, Metro 2, those sorts of things. A top 5 doesn't really. I don't discredit the winners at the end of the day. If you win the competition, you're great. You're a very good team. You deserve to win the competition. But to only play a top 5 and only have a division of, or a conference or a competition of 16, and then select the top 5.
So you talk about for finals?
Yeah.
Yes, it's like VC's top 8. All our ones are top 5. I suppose the thing I'd like to see is I know it's a lot of commitment, but we can change the way we do grading phases. I don't ever think a grand final in basketball should be one game.
No, that's another thing. It should be like a 3-game series or something like that. Because
I remember we played when we won VC at Altona. Now look, we come from 5th, but we had 3 or 4 good games. We come across Knox in the prelim, which always used to be called semi, then prelim, then grand final. So we got Knox who were undefeated. They were the dominant team of the year.
Yeah,
they had one bad game.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
we probably created that bad game for them because we were very good in what we did and due diligence on how we approached it. But they had one bad game.
Yeah, prelims do funny things.
Yeah, and I don't think it was justly deserving on the way that they fell out. And then the 2 teams that made the grand final weren't top 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then you look at the season, you play how many games? The idea is I'm not worried about the minor premiers. How do we ensure that? I think best is 3 when it gets to a certain start.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But again, that's adding more
games,
layers to the game. But what you do then is you say no grading phase 1. You can use the tournament, which everyone plays in, which everyone participates in.
I don't think that'll be the case this time around next year.
Well, if that's a revamp, because I think we go straight to grading phase. It's every game is a must win. You go grading phase 2, every game is a must win.
Mm.
The tournament between grading phase 1 and grading phase 2, I think, is meant to be just to get your players engaging and playing and trying things you haven't tried. No, they're trying to get the formula right for grading phase 2, which means kids are missing out during a tournament.
Mm.
So and then by the time you get to the first game of the season, it's mentally done.
Yeah. Everything
you've done is so pressure to perform and get to where you are. Then the season starts, you can't afford to drop a game here and there.
Yeah.
Because you can easily fall behind.
Yeah.
Like I said, the top 5 out of 16 teams or whatever, you could easily say, well, within 5 weeks, I'm out of finals contention.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree.
And then what happens with the bodies, you can still be the greatest team, but you get hit by 3 injuries. Because for the grading phase 1, 2, anything can happen. I've seen great teams have injuries early, fall low into a competition where it'd be VJBL 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah.
But they're actually probably a VJBL and VC team.
Yeah. Exactly.
But the injuries haven't allowed them to actually be capable of what they should be capable of.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why teams, some dominate in certain areas.
Yeah. Maybe it could be devised like something like I can take a leaf out of the soccer book here.
What do you mean take a leaf out? What does that mean?
It's a saying. It's one of those sayings. You're going to take me to town on a saying. Can you let me?
I'm going back to that. What am I taking a leaf out of? Where does the leaf come from? Can you explain that methodology, please?
The playbook. Where they're going to take a leaf,
the page,
leaf, which was a leaf previously.
No, it wasn't. It was a tree trunk. It was a tree trunk. So I've got you on that one.
You've got me everywhere.
So can you explain to me? The leaf of it's a page. It's a right. Where's the leaf come from?
I don't know.
Well, what are we using?
Maybe they used to write on leaves back in the day.
I know they used to
before
write
there was
paper.
paper.
But I don't know. Anyway, back to what you said. So I got sidetracked.
So if we take a look at the English soccer system, for example, they have the FA Cup.
Right.
Imagine doing something like that across Victoria.
I don't fully understand the FA Cup.
Well, you get drawn out of a hat.
Right.
So there's no particular seeding system. You could be a VC team and you could be a Metro 4 team, for example. Could end up playing each other. And then it's just a round robin knockout competition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Why not do something like that?
Yeah, I would, but I wouldn't want to see round 1 with the 2
played in conjunction with your
with your
normal season.
I think
wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, it's cool. If at the end of the day, whatever we do, I just think it's too much now. Domestic, it's just
sure.
We're doing too much.
So I'm going to say, shorten the season, make it a March to end of September. So that's 6 months.
Or what about another way? How about you go halfway through a season and then do a tournament to see where you're actually at?
Yeah.
And then that might mean you can actually take their points for the league they're in.
Oh, take their points.
Well,
that's even more stiff.
If you're a VJBL 4, you take where they were in VJBL 1, and the VJBL 1 team ends up in VJBL 4.
Oh, geez.
As was.
That could create a very lopsided competition in some respects, couldn't it?
Well, the way they send players and poach players now at clubs because certain coach at certain clubs, well, it's already happening, mate.
That's become something that's rife I've noticed even after this, even over this, what do we call it? Break, preseason. We're in preseason now, I guess. That's something I've noticed. It's become. I honestly thought that would sort of cut out after COVID.
So maybe I'm going to
because everything was so far in the air.
Well, I'm going to change direction then for you. Not done. Now we won't revamp it like. Do you think if you're a state coach, you should coach at a club for that year?
No.
Really? I'm the same.
Are you the same? All right. Well, I'll argue the other way. Why not?
Because I believe it becomes a conflict of interest that the kid now wants to come across to where you are to talk because they think they're going to get maximized value out of their development.
So you're saying a coach can only coach at a state level tournament, which lasts a week and a bit.
No.
And then can only do the practice in the lead up, which is, I don't know, a couple of months. That's it.
I don't know.
So you can't coach?
Well,
that's unreasonable.
Yeah, absolutely. But they're doing the NITP. They're coaching that level for a reason. They're more about developing and being part of that next level of coaching. So you got to go through that anyway. So like, in workplaces, you got to go through a certain area to understand that area. So if you really want to become a great coach, you'll say, well, you know what? I'm not going to be a team coach now. I'm going to develop the elite level players. You can't have both. I don't think. I just worry that there's a certain club, I'm not going to name anyone, is that everyone's going there now because apparently they're all getting paid.
It's all swings. Here's another saying. It's all swings and roundabouts. It goes in and out.
I've never seen a swing in a roundabout, but anyway,
swings and roundabouts to steal another coach's line there. But it goes in cycles. You always see this. You see one association will have a lot of coaches associated with Vic State Performance, and then after 4 or 5 years, there'll be another lot of coaches associated with one club.
So that's my point. Don't go because there's a coach there, because that coach might be there next year. The only reason I think you should leave a club is if the environment's not right. Yeah.
But I would argue as well, and this is probably more lends to your point than mine that I was trying to argue before, was by the time you actually get to the state championships anyway, you're there to win.
Spot on.
So you're 12 deep or whatever it usually is. Probably the last 2, possibly 3 athletes aren't going to get on. They're only there at the practice.
Yeah, but some parents and players get caught up in the old, well, if I go there, I'm in their sights.
Nah.
If I go here, and then to be fair,
but
it's been allowed, which I can understand why that perception's in place.
Yeah.
Because it's happened. If I'm generally a good player and I play at an unknown club, I still should get noticed.
Yeah.
Not because I wear or play for a certain club under a certain banner, because certain people are there. If I'm justly deserving, it doesn't matter if I'm in Met 4, but I stand up and I'm in the 1 team in a club. If I'm a genuine great player, I should get opportunity.
Yeah. I would even go as far to say, and it's great, we don't begrudge athletes that have made it to these state teams. It's a great honour. But I would love to see a list of the past 5 to 7 years of athletes that have made state teams at 16, 18's level, and how many of them are still playing at a high level today.
And I'd like to do another one, is in the same data collection, the strategic research you do on that one. I would like to know that which coaches were aligned to which club and which players were aligned to what club and which kids missed out, which ones didn't.
Because it becomes it's better the devil you know than the better the devil you don't.
So the question I'm going to ask then, do you think, I'm not talking about any other sport.
You're talking about
and the one thing I don't like is when people say to me, but it's everywhere, accept it. Well, I accept it. Is the system fair for opportunity for the athletes?
I know you're looking at me. I'm just trying to process your question. Is the system fair for the athletes?
Yeah. Do you think it's an honest, true, honest system?
Is any system honest? You can't answer a question with a question. Probably
we accept, because that's what we accept. We accept that all systems have a flaw. All sports have politics. All communities have agendas. All parents, blah, blah. I don't accept that. I want to know, has any kid got the true, honest opportunity that they justly deserved, or do you think there's too much of a flaw that it's not a fair system for all?
For some, they'll get a fair treatment.
When you face
it, probably not the majority.
So your answer tells me it's not fair.
No, it's probably not wholly fair.
If you say only for some, it's not fair.
For some, that they'll get the opportunity, and that's great because they earned it.
Earned it. So some earn it. Some have a name. Some play at a club that's strong, full of representatives that are part of the
they
programs.
have coaches already. Yeah.
I might be a player from a certain club that's not ranked highly, but I stand by my club and I'm loyal to my club. But I am a VC player, but my club just doesn't have a VC team.
Yeah.
I've just stayed loyal. Does that kid get invited? Or is the club?
I would hope so. I'm not close enough in it. I don't know. My initial thought is no, it's not fair. But again, we don't want to put down the athletes that have actually made it to that level.
I don't know.
We just want to be very clear there.
Very clear.
But I think the system is flawed, yes. Now, the interesting thing, we have a lot of coaches at different NITP state performance. What is it? It's SPP. What,
they've changed
at different satellite venues, isn't it now, across the state? So I would argue now, because that's only come about really the last 12 months, maybe last 18 months or something like that, more of these coaches are seeing players from different clubs now, different associations.
If it's a satellite venue, who normally runs that venue?
Oh, it's usually the home-based coach, isn't it? Usually?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think so. So does that make sense to you? I would expect a state coach from the Eastern to come to the Western, so we all get the coaches to see.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
But that's what should happen. Because I don't want to be so only biased view of I only see the Eastern players, so I look for the Eastern players. All these programs, it's like the DPPs, or SP, whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. They're all these different letters and alphabets. But at certain clubs, they make you feel that if you don't do the extra, you may not even get looked at for the whatever. So you got to do the extra and far more just to try and impress people. When some kids don't need to be doing that.
Absolutely agree.
Some kids can be doing it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But as long as they're representing the club in the highest team possible, should they have to do the extra curriculum within the same? Because my theory is if you're learning from the same people the whole time, you're only learning one way, one philosophy, one methodology. It's okay to get help elsewhere.
Yeah. I think a lot of kids do though now.
Yeah, but some people are also scared to, well, if I train there, will that impact me? If I go there, will it impact me? Did you think that happens?
Yeah, I think that definitely runs through the thought process.
Do you think clubs like it when kids train here that don't train with them at the extra?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you think certain clubs would appreciate the kids are coming here for their extra curriculum but not buying into their extra curriculum?
Oh, you probably know the answer better than me.
What do you think? What do you think?
Surely not.
Yeah, that happens, mate.
That's bullshit.
They will say, well, you at TS, you should be training here. And then people start saying, well, maybe I should train both. So now you got kids who sometimes feel they got to do, or parents feel they got to do both.
Well, that's a bit of a cop out because I'll even go up to the highest level now. You see these NBA players; they work out with all these different gurus that
but you
in their off season that help them develop.
But those players
in a different gym.
Yeah, but they've made it. They've never achieved it. They're already in that. What's the word? That category of where they can make those type of choices.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the up and coming who are trying to get their foot in the door, who feel that they must do X, Y, Z. Just to get a foot in the door. I just think the system makes too much, what's the word? They make it where
bias,
or we have to overcommit just to try and get an opportunity. It's made it a lot harder for the wrong reasons, is all I'm trying to say. I don't know if I've made that cryptic or not.
Yeah, no, I think I know what you're saying. And I think we're unique in a sense for Australia, Victoria. We play all year round. Europe don't. US don't. Europe actually train more than they play, don't they? They train. It's crazy, isn't it? It's 5 or 6 days a week, really, and it's twice a day: morning, school, then evening, usually, from what I understand.
Well,
is that right? And then they maybe play a game, or they play in a tournament.
Well, I think it's China.
Yeah,
I think at the age could be wrong. Say 14, they're already training at 14. Professionally for 2 years. I think it's like a 2-year contract, whatever, that they fully commit to the Chinese program. I think it's China.
Right.
It's China. So they already start the kids early and make them commit at a professional level.
Europe's a bit the same too. I think
it might be. I don't know where I saw that.
Yeah.
But like it's a 2-year platform that they must commit to.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll work on every aspect of the game inside out and just see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure where I was going with that, but I just think that I think there's a lot of conflict, a lot of People are judged because of a view that they might. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just think that people are worried about what people think, who they may not be working with. I have people come here silently.
It's like a covert operation, sneak in the back door here and in dark.
I've done coaching workshops that I think have come in quietly.
Gee, that's
fact, but I'm being a bit cryptic here.
I know you can't. We're not going to mention names, but I'm going to say that that's disappointing if people feel like they can't associate or reach out to particular people, whether it be such as yourself or other people that they know, and seek help and guidance and a different perspective, a different philosophy. If that is something that's frowned upon or become more frowned upon in our sport, then I think we're heading down a road that's very dangerous in terms of breeding. And we underline this in everything that we do, is the culture.
Oh, and I don't care if player A goes to you and me.
Yeah.
If we're doing it together, it's great.
Mm.
But when it's me against you or whatever, that's half the problem. Sometimes I think we're coaching a kid against another coach. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah, that's disappointing if that's the case. It does hang around. It does have that stench that hangs around, doesn't it?
Everyone wants to have their own little niche on what they do and why they do it. Like I remember a person, I won't even say if it's male, female, whatever. Person comes to me and goes, "Are you working with player A?" I knew what they were going to say to me.
It was a loaded question,
because they're not doing
they already knew.
They're not doing X, Y, Z. I said, they're in your team. I have not trained them for 7 months. But your first thought was, I'm the reason for their flaws.
Yeah, that's an absolute cop-out.
That person was absolutely shocked. So I said, they're under your banner. The team coach, you've got them for 3 to 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
I might get it for half an hour or an hour. It's not my responsibility. I do the other stuff that's not being done.
Yeah.
Or I might work on, but I'm not against other coaches. I'm not trying to say they're right. I'm just trying to do is help the kid.
Why have we got this such an us against them culture creeping into our junior sport, Dad? Like why are we doing this? Why does it come to this?
I thought we're in a sport. It's a cutthroat game now. There's so much player movement. I mean, I've moved clubs, but it's probably lots to do with my coaching.
Yeah. But I've done it too. I've moved clubs for my coaching.
Yeah, and my kids might adapt to where I am or the life we live with. But also, if the environment's on, we're gone. It's not about my play not playing the 1s, 2s, or 3s. It's never a reason why my kids leave. But culture is everything. Environment's everything. And if I feel that we can collectively work together, I'm all in. Yeah, and that's why I feel that where I'm now. I wasn't going to cut, but I felt it. I've always looked at this club for a long time because I've been around it. I feel like I'm part of it.
He's back.
I see it. But, But again, back. Yeah, but it doesn't feel right. What do I do?
No, that's right. I get you. And we've spoken about this privately. Now we're talking about on here. We find and we both feel it's a concern. Yeah, deep down we feel it's a concern, and I feel as though something's getting worse. I was probably optimistic coming out of COVID that it would probably dissipate a bit. Nah, if anything, it's intensified. Well, and again, we're coming out of COVID, short time frame into seasons, people jumping all over the place to try and aim for a number.
Oh yeah, and then what? The base of you aiming for that number, what is your background, what's your philosophy, what is your intention to get there?
Yeah.
If it's we're at all cost attitude, you're going to flail.
I would argue if we look at just this period of time that we're in now, we need to look at this upcoming season as going back to doing something you love.
But what is the thing that you love?
Just playing the game.
Yeah, but what about a coach perspective? Just helping people.
The coaches love helping people. We love the game ourselves, but we just if we as a coaching fraternity, I'm talking very broadly here, saying it's an us against me, this coach against another coach over this player or these group of players. You're doing it for the bloody wrong reasons.
Spot on.
Get out of our sport, please.
Well, unfortunately, the bigger the sport is, the more problems we're going to have because they're not fixing the problems previously. The spot fires now, raging bonfires, and everyone thinks that we're in an environment that's good for. How many kids have you seen that have been damaged by basketball?
Yeah, many.
And I see a lot of kids a week.
Yeah. And
a lot of kids I see, not all kids, some got some good things happening in that, but there's something not right, and it should have been picked up. It should have been found or become aware within the club they're at.
Mm.
But how many clubs would know the players in their club? How would know exactly where their players are at as a whole? If I'm in the 15th, 20th side, because some clubs put in multiple sides, do they know every kid where they're at and what they're doing and where they're at and what progression they need to move forward?
Man, I hope so.
Well, if I had a kid in a four
That's
side,
hard. It's hard.
how do I get that kid into a 3 side? How do I get the kid in a 2 side to become a 1s player? Are we going through that? All we worry about is every year, get the first team, get the second team. We'll name 5 teams with no coaches. There's no coaches. I wouldn't be naming teams if I didn't have a coach in place. And it has to be a rep coach, not just any coach.
Mm.
What we're doing, we're naming teams, but then find someone who puts their hand up who unfortunately is not ready for rep basketball at that level and the commitment and the understanding of development. What happens to those players?
Yeah, they're not going to be in for a good time.
So the coaches help the coaches, the players help. I just don't see the one and all approach.
No.
It's virtually, here's your team. Look after it.
That's a worry.
And can you please give me a team manager? What's the team manager for? Just send emails? No. They're probably going to deal with all the rubbish that goes on. Well, it's not their job.
No, well.
And half the time the team manager's a parent, so they know all the ins and outs of what's going on. What happens? It becomes
it becomes many spot fires that become one big fire.
So
yeah.
I was going to say something up. I forgot. I lost train, but I could talk about all this stuff over and over. Everyone goes, "Hey, what's the resolution? What's the problem?" Pick the teams that are worthy to be in. You don't have to put every team in. Make sure you got the right coach to do the right team for the right reasons.
Yeah. And
make sure we're all in together. So if there's a development platform, we all get the development platform.
Yeah.
It's like when you get one team, great, they get the hour and a half by themselves with the best coach.
But come back to why do you coach?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you coach?
I love it. But one thing I'll tell you, I don't have to coach. I enjoy it. But I do it because I love it and what I get out of it with the kids that I'm coaching.
Yeah.
I don't do it to please a parent. I don't do it because the scoreboard says I'm going to get X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
I do it because when I see those kids' faces and the impact I have and the connection I make, when my win-loss ratio is based on
that.
How many kids did I win over and how many kids did I not win over?
Can I provide you my own personal experience? It's very, very recent.
Sure.
And I coached for that exact reason. You and I are both aligned on that. I had the opportunity, and this is great, and it actually made me feel very humble and like really deep inside, incredibly proud and happy, was that I had 2 ex-players reach out to me and just want to catch up.
Awesome.
Brunch, lunch. Like just out of really nowhere, let's catch up before Christmas, chew the fat, rehash. Like that stuff made me realize. And sometimes you forget as a coach, you get bogged down in the nitty gritty, the day to day, the month to month, whatever it is, just why you love that stuff. And I wish it was something that could happen more regularly. I mean, I'll admit I can be busy sometimes and, people lead busy lives. But when you actually just take a stop and pause and meet with those people a year or 2 down the track and they say, thank you, because what I was going through then made me realize this.
Absolutely. And what's it like? It's a great feeling.
It was an unbelievable feeling. And I was telling Beck, just how worthwhile like that. I just sat back and appreciated like those comments in that moment for what it was. That's an unbelievable feeling. I can't describe that feeling. I probably don't do that feeling justice in just talking about it now. But if you're a coach out there listening to this, and probably my experience then, those are the feelings that you want to have down the track.
Well, for us, like on pre-comment, we saved a kid's life last week.
Yeah, see, that's bloody strong stuff,
which wasn't really picked up on many people.
Yeah,
and then we got commitment from the family here, and we sat down and we spoke it out, and we got some change in the thought process.
Yeah,
but when you talk about what those kids want to catch up with you, I love the most. I'll sit in a grandstand or at a stadium, and I'll watch every team enter, and I always look at how the coach and the players greet.
Yeah.
The ones where the coaches don't go to the kids, the players, and the players don't even want to say hello to the coach and just walk past them and as if they were there. But I see the other ones where they get the greeting, the hug, whatever. I don't care about political correctness. If the kid, they hug it, great. They want to give you a high five, great.
Yeah.
But I tell straight away that coach has got the right connection for the right reasons. But you can see other ones walk in who've got a great team, probably got good results, but no connection.
Yep.
That's what
happens at nearly every level of the sport.
So I reckon that every single person should one day just say, you know what, I'm going to have a look at that concepts. Look at the way the players engage with each other, the way the coach interacts with the players, the way the parents are isolated from the coach, or what all these little posses going around. I pick up on everything, and you can just see. You think, look at that. That's happening. That's there.
All these
Blah,
little
blah,
clicks, clicks here, click there.
I watched
click there.
I watched the game. I must say it was a high-level game, and I said to someone within that group, "Your team's got 3 divisions. There's 3 divides within this group." And I thought that was between me and the person. Then another person I never spoken to came up to me a couple of days later and goes, "Oh, can I talk to you about something?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I heard you say that we had a division within a team. How'd you pick up on that in one game?"
Yeah.
Because I sat there, I didn't watch the game.
You didn't watch the game. You just
watched
watched the bench, the interaction,
warm-up,
and the warm up, the timeouts.
So I miss games. I miss watching. Everyone goes, "Oh, did you see the game?" Yeah, but I watched everything else.
Yeah.
I watched everything else.
Yeah.
I watch how the assistant coach is not interested in what the coach is saying, or when the players look at the assistant coach when the other coach is not looking and see who, there's a problem here. And then the way that the players sit, the way they all slouch, the ones who will sit up, upbeat, the ones who will, it's not about me now.
Yeah. Team sport. Team sport is the hardest sport. It's the hardest sport. If you can't get everyone on the same page or in the same boat together or on the same bus, is there a book? There's a book about that, isn't it? On the bus. If you can't get everyone on the same bus together, it ain't going to work.
Remember the Titans was amazing when you put the colours together, the whites. Now that was that idea.
I love that movie.
You changed the separation and said you have to be together.
Yeah.
Whether they're good friends or not, you have to be together.
Yeah.
But I think that if I'm a representative of coach of the club, or I'm a director of coaching, and I saw those things I saw,
that's what they should be worrying about, isn't
but
it?
they don't, because normally the times I attend, the director of coaching is coaching.
The director of coaching.
Director of coaching is normally coaching a team.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
They're either got a busy schedule. They're either doing championship, whatever, or NBL 1, or the league coach are doing their own team. Therefore, you don't get to see it all. You should sit. Any representative of a club should sit in their stadium one day and watch people how they walk in and how they walk out. And you work out. Well, if I see it, every other club sees it, and every new potential member sees it, whether it's good or whether it's bad.
Yeah.
What gets me at a club is what I see.
Yeah.
I was at a club, it's Geelong Supercats. They were amazing. Dave Hurt was there. I was great until they decided to change the concept.
Yeah.
And once, unfortunately, Dave was no longer there, and I left because I didn't go to Geelong because I was just on because of what it had.
Yeah. And we love Herbie, by the way.
Yeah, I love Herbie. But it's gone.
Mm.
Their environment's gone.
Yeah.
And why don't people just sit and look at what is happening inside their own inner sanctum and say, this is not a good thing, or this is a great thing. Embrace it.
Yeah.
What that coach and those kids do over there, we should embrace that. What that kids are playing, I don't want that to be represented.
No, well, see, this is what happens. I'll tell you categorically what happens, right? Everyone, as soon as your teams are picked, you're all in a silo. That's it.
There's no us and them.
I'll talk from it. It's us. I'm going to worry about my. Now, that's something I'm very conscious of as a ones coach right now going into this next season, and we've been really, I thought, have been really good at over the past couple of seasons, that 1 and 2s, being together. So, but I'll admit, we've got to see more broadly than that too.
And that's why when I see, so the concept could be, let's just make it up as we go now, blank canvas. The 1 and 2s train together, great. But once in a blue moon, how about if the 1s worked with the 3s?
3s or 4s.
2s worked with the 4s.
Yeah.
Just to get an idea of what's about, where they're at, how they feel, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Just go through the process. The coach learns. The players get to understand where they need to be. They can draw a comparison on where they're at right now. And that's what I need to do. But no, we separate ourselves and we make ourselves, some feel far greater than what they actually are compared to others, and some feel less of.
Yeah.
I was trying to, I'm getting that.
Yeah, and not feeling so great.
So I walk in. Yeah, I'm just the bottom of the bottom of this club.
It's not a nice feeling.
And no one even knows I'm here.
It's not a nice feeling.
Yeah, I don't even feel like that I'm part of this club. Yeah. I'd like to be a person who says, "How you going? How's your game last week?
Yeah,
you're in the 5s. How you traveling?
Yeah,
you want to see me invite? Here you go.
Yeah. That's what it should be like.
Yeah, but does it happen?
Why can't it be like that? No, well, it doesn't. Well, why can't it be like that? I don't know.
We want to grow a club and be bigger and better than what we were last year or yesterday. Fine. So why do we put all our emphasis on the 1s and 2 teams?
Don't know.
Where's the future 9 times out of 10 at a low age group?
We're looking.
The ones coming through the program.
Yeah.
But we tend to say, well, we offer you the same. We don't. I pay the same fees, but I don't get the same
Return.
opportunity. You get a full court for 9 minutes with the best coach.
No return on my investment, Daz.
I share a court for an hour at a high school with a coach that probably doesn't want to be there. They have to be there because they put their hand up because no one else would.
Yeah.
Why can't it change, man?
Great question.
Everyone says, it's like that everywhere, but we accept it.
We accept it. Yeah. Yeah, I've been guilty of saying that.
And that's why I said, me coaching this year, I've been thinking about being in this club for a very long time. If Herbie hadn't arranged me when I went to Geelong for 2 years, this club was in my sight because I love what they're about. I love the people around it. The kids there, teamwork. But it was just a bit of a detour. I'm happy to be there because I didn't need to coach. The reason I'm coaching is because I like what they're about.
Yep.
They're not branded as this strong, powerful. They look after their own.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it should be about.
So when you say look after your own, how many clubs
know their own
have 70% of the players that were their own?
Yeah.
Give me a club that's potentially majority of homegrown players.
I would say the more outer suburb team clubs are.
All right. How about
rather than inner metro? Inner metro is probably difficult.
Well,
is it?
Yeah, or maybe another way. How about we look at all the players that have left all the clubs and bring them back home for a day and see how many teams you got out of all those.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you would be.
And then the question is if I had a lot of people leaving all the time, instead of saying like if you're in a mass population area, you're going to get as one person goes, 2 more are going to walk in. But why do we ever not find out why they're leaving?
Well, I would have thought that'd be a natural question to ask because if someone goes in and says, "Look, I want to leave," you've got to get the clearance paper signed, don't you?
If they just sign it, a lot of people just
why don't people have the conversation? Oh, can you give us a bit of feedback on why you want to leave?
So what
do people do that, or is it just a big bust up and full of verbal barbs and pointing finger and blame game and whatnot?
Some say, well, if you don't want to be here, don't want to be here. But it's the reason why I don't want to be here. It might be that now a kid wants to go, they might get a 1 spot at this club, but they're prepared to take a 2 spot at another club. So when you read them and say, "Oh no, we need you," no, there's a reason why they're prepared to play in the 2 team and not the 1 team.
Yeah, that's a big
That's happening now. I've actually seen it happen here.
That's not good.
I'm seeing parents at the calls.
Yeah.
Oh, but we'll do this well, you should have done that anyway. The phone call should be about what you're going to offer them. The phone call should be about what can we do to keep. Or actually, I don't know. I don't know the question.
To help you enjoy your basketball again with us. But I don't know. Something like that. Loosely along those lines.
And you know what?
I'm not a director of coaching.
I tell you what, I'd like to get a file at the club. So can you please show me all your clearances with a reason why they've left?
Is that on the clearance? I've never seen a clearance paper, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, you can be not like John United, not required, because they live in Metro.
Could Basketball Victoria do that? Because it all goes back through Basketball Victoria when you get a clearance paper signed. It should be clearance and reason why leaving. Tick. That would be great data to have, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but
that would give a really good sense check of what's happening across.
But there's not enough space in why people are leaving.
Oh, geez, come on. The form. Can't we just tick box here? Not happy with coaches. I don't know. I can think of a variety of reasons, but
I don't know.
Pretty great data to get a hold of.
Well, if
data.
You should be able to look at your files and say, "Hey guys, the last 2 years, these are the reasons why we're losing players." So instead of worrying about the X and O's, we might want to focus on actually
fix up some of this.
If we're losing a mass excess of a certain age group, there might be a reason in that age group. It might be that we've had that coach there for 4 years and it's not working.
Yeah.
I'm fathomed to find out that a certain age group at a certain club of females, only 29 tried out of a very big club.
That's rare. Am I right in saying that's rare?
I don't know anymore. I see it's an unusual number.
29 for an age group.
Yes. And what's the dropout rate? Is under 18. So of those 29, they're going to drop out in under 18s. So where's your pathways? Where's the program? That should be the fattest piece, is the under 16s. That should be the meat.
Oh, so this is under 16. Sorry.
Under 16s.
Yeah, that's a real worry, that. Oh, boy.
John, I won't say clubs. I was going to say about under 12s, they were chasing for numbers. Well, if you let people in, they might come and you might have the numbers. There you go. We'll talk about it all day.
We could, couldn't we?
And I'm just saying, it's seen. Everyone knows about it. It's not unheard news. It's not a surprise to anyone. We all know this is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Why has someone said it's time to fix it? Time to change it.
Well, we're going to say it now. Change it. It's time. There's no better time than now. We've come out of something that's hit everyone in many different levels, different wavelengths. Players, parents, coaches, clubs, directors of coaching, team managers, all that sort of stuff. Let's do this now. Let's get it right now.
If you did your
I'm
role,
worried we're rushing into everything, though. But
if you did your role for the right reasons, you'll get the right result. And I'm not talking about wins and losses. I'm just talking about the result.
Well, that's what everyone gets fixated on, is the wins and losses. That determines my worth.
Yeah. And that result category can form like so many different categories.
Yeah.
I developed a player. That's a result.
Mm.
I engage in someone to go from a participation concept to a development concept. I got someone who was just, part because they want to develop, but they now want to become better.
Yeah,
that's results. That's growth. That's what's more for culture, growth, belief, and trust.
Yeah,
that's our 4 things here.
Yeah, it's on the
There you go. It's
there.
there.
Hold it up for the camera.
But I just get a bit.
It's disheartening, isn't it?
Too much acceptance of things that we accept, and all I can say is that it's never too late to change. That's what we tell kids. That's what we preach. Yet we won't do it ourselves at the top end.
Mm. Food for thought, right there.
And if it's not working,
let that marinate.
It's not working.
Let that marinate.
All right, we're done.
We're done for.
We got caught.
We're done for 2020.
Well, and we might be done in general. I've enjoyed it.
I think so.
But also, we don't want this to be smothered and just a waste of time for, people love it. We'll continue it.
Mm.
We've had fun doing it, but we also want to do it because we just want to engage people to have something to focus on and listen to. And we're happy to talk about anything. We're not worried about what we do and don't say. If we have a thought, we're happy to share it. It doesn't mean you're right. It doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean you're wrong and I'm wrong.
Yeah.
We're just thinking out loud, mate.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes we're just probably being the devil's advocate just to put it out there to say, well, maybe start to think about different scenarios, different concepts.
Yeah, sometimes raise more questions than answers. Well, before we sign off, highlight of 2020, go.
Highlight of 2020, that we were actually able to go through something that was so unusual, unheard of, and we were actually able to come out of it and somehow find a way to step back into some sort of normality.
Yeah.
Because, yes, it has broken a lot of people. It has impacted a lot. There's still pain to come.
Yep.
But I just like to see how I've seen people and how they've sort of gone back to adapting and trying to move forward.
Yeah.
Because COVID-19, I thought, could have broken and ruined a lot more things.
Yeah.
It's done damage. I'm not sure the damage that's been done. There's more damage to come.
Yeah.
But just to see people still committing, getting out there and trying to keep head up and held high and trying to move forward.
Yeah.
It's sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Has absolutely inspired me, impressed me.
Yeah.
By what I've seen. And I know people are hurting. I know they're broken. I know that, especially parents, but they're still trying to do the right thing and offer their kids the opportunity that's justly deserved.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more with that.
That's my highlight.
Absolutely.
What's your highlight?
Well, besides what you just said, I think I'm just going to piggyback off that, aren't I?
You take a leaf out of my philosophy and leaf out of my
a leaf out of something. Look, I think I've really enjoyed doing this with you, Daz. There's no question about that. And I remember the day we actually stepped in here and started building this.
A crazy moment. Let's just do this.
And that was a freezing cold day too. I remember that. Now, I think just the feedback and support we've gotten a long way. From some people that have engaged with the podcast and with us, it's been great. It's funny. It's helped me build connections that I thought may have been lost.
It's also
opened
you up.
Absolutely, 100%. So the challenge is still out there for the big dog. Radio silence this past week from the big dog.
I think
I'm just gonna throw that out quietly to sign off because I put the red number on again. You'll make fun of the red number right here.
Yeah, but I'm going to say
See
this.
him.
A silent big dog is a scary big dog. It means they're coming up and thinking of something.
Nah,
He's
all
coming.
bluster, and no substance.
Actually, he's doing it tonight, so I'll probably get set. You might see the big dog on the way out.
I'll be ducking on the way out, mate.
Well, I've loved being with you. And probably another bonus thing too is that not that you're an introvert, but you've come out, out of your shell. You've been public. We've gone on a public domain. We're not specialists in podcasts. We still don't know what we're uploading, not uploading, and how to do it. And I tend to get things wrong. We still do we upload now? How we don't know how was it the algorithm? What's it called?
Algorithms
The algorithm.
of the social
How it
media,
works,
social network.
We just put up when it's I'm gonna put up now, whatever.
Yeah.
We do it for fun. We do it for just to have an open conversation that we think that when we do have these conversations, it's good that maybe people should hear our conversation.
Maybe in 100 years when there's a next pandemic, they'll go, oh, geez, those guys are onto something back there.
They've got all the answers, mate.
All right.
Sign off. All right. Well, as we say, stay safe, stay well, stay strong. If you're down now, please reach out, especially this time of year. I mean, all year round, but not that any time's greater than others. But this is the time where you need people. It's a time we're supposed to commemorate what we have and haven't done or where we want to go, and it's an important time of year. So let's just make sure that we've got people by our side to help us get through it. So
100%, Daz.
Love to all. We're here for you all, and look, it may be our last, may not be, but I think it could be our last because of we don't want to just to smother it for no purpose. But if people say that we want it back, we'll keep going. So as that, love the family, and everyone,
too,
Merry Christmas, all the best, and maybe we will see you on this in the new year. See what happens. All right.
Take care, everyone.
All the best.
Bye.